G'day, this is your host, Smith City, and I'm here for a Smith City NBA review. So, got Jordan's Bullets jersey on, and let's talk about the trade, shall we, that happened today. It was between the Lakers and the Wizards. Harrell, Kuzma, and a first round pick to the Wizards for Russell Westbrook. Now, I'm going to start with the Lakers. They have an aging list with LeBron being as old as he is and AD sort of at the tail end as he's sort of tailing off to the end of his career, as well as being injury prone. I feel like they had to make this move. I feel like they're probably in a window of like two. I'd probably say 2 seasons where they're able to contend. And so making this decision now with the potential of repercussions later on when LeBron probably retires, AD might have to be moved on or whatever. I think it was probably a really good decision by the Lakers. But from a Wizards standpoint, I also think that the Lakers... I think the Lakers probably gave away a lot, but also to take on that large contract of Westbrook, it's probably something that they ended up having to do anyway. So, I feel like the Wizards getting a first round pick, I know it was late, Kuzma and Harrell, is now they've got some pieces to work with, with Thomas Bryant, Kuzma probably at the 4, Kuzma at the 3, maybe Harrell at the 4, Beal at the 2. Whoever they drafted, they can start to create a new culture at the Wizards. Do I think that the Lakers have got massively better? I do. Do I feel like LeBron probably went out to search for a ball-dominant player to probably take the pressure off him now that he's probably at the age that he is? 100%. 100% believe that is the case. And that's no knock to LeBron. That's just smart. So, obviously, the Lakers organisation, I wouldn't be surprised if they've had a chat with LeBron and said, where do we want to go in the direction of building this team? And he probably wanted to get a ball-dominant guard. It'll be interesting what the pace is going to be like for the Lakers, obviously with Westbrook trying to pad his stats and also run and gun sort of style of basketball, how that sort of plays with a aging LeBron and an aging AD. But I look at it from a from the Lakers standpoint, I look at it from a Harrell standpoint of you trade him away and you probably have the ability to get similar value for even just one season, similar value from a vet min, 100%. And so, long term, who do I feel like's got the better deal? Probably the Wizards. Who probably gets the best deal right now to sort of push to win a title? The Lakers, obviously. And what I will say is, being a Milwaukee Bucks supporter is the fact that we won a title is fantastic. But, for Giannis to keep building his legacy as in the top 3 or top 4 players is... I want teams to get better. I want teams to sort of create a scenario where Giannis isn't having an easy time of getting to the NBA finals or winning them. Because I feel like if, let's say the Lakers can sort of mesh their chemistry together and it all works out well and they can all stay on the park, as well as the Nets coming back healthier next season, and a few other bits and pieces from other teams. Phoenix probably getting stronger at the age of, most of their players are 24 and under. Is that all of a sudden Giannis just comes back and tries to take on a lot of these powerful teams. And I feel like if you're going to cement yourself as one of the top 3 to 5 players of all time, is you're going to need to be challenged. And so, like, if Lakers had just stayed the same as what they were, and somehow they made the finals and came up against Giannis, and Giannis ended up beating them quite comprehensively, the talk would have been about, LeBron's finished, he's too old, AD's too injury prone, and, Giannis ends up getting another easy title. And so I like the fact that Lakers have made a play here. I really, really do. I think from a basketball coaching standpoint, because I coach basketball, is that from a team standpoint, is you're always wanting to try to get better. And if you feel like you're a couple of pieces away from competing for another title, is you got to make those moves, regardless of what it looks like in 2, 3, 4 seasons' time. You got to make those moves. And I don't see how they could have possibly got anything better than what they did, talent-wise. I'm sure they probably may have been able to get some extra pieces for Kuzma, but I don't think anything that sort of makes them stand out. And obviously Westbrook generates interest, generates fans, generates sort of a competitive nature. It'd be interesting to see how the two egos between LeBron and Westbrook go with each other. But I think with LeBron aging as well, is that, like, he might just say to Westbrook that here it is. Here's your city. Go for it. Which might take a lot of Westbrook's pressure off himself mentally. And so, yeah, it's a very interesting time in the NBA, and I would like to think that teams would actively try to get better. Because, yeah, you don't want Bucks and Giannis to be in their peak in terms of, like, the talent we've got on our roster, and just in the next 2-3 years coast to another 3 titles without any competitive opposition. And so, yeah, I like it. And so from a Lakers standpoint, is now, do you try to trade Schroeder's 13 mil or 14 mil, whatever he's on, now that you've got Westbrook? And do you try to trade him away to a team that needs a point guard, maybe a starting point guard, to maybe take on a vet and maybe some cap or whatever it is, to make that trade happen? Because you literally could be able to pick up sort of a Schroeder replacement. Now you got Westbrook. Like Schroeder was starting beforehand. You probably could pick up a similar player that can be a playmaker and assist off the bench by going into the free agent pool and giving someone the minimum. And so, if somehow they can trade Schroeder away and maybe just bolster their 3-point shooting, because obviously LeBron's got better as his career's got on. I'm not too sure in terms of statistic wise, but I feel like he has been a better 3-point shooter. I'm not too sure percentage wise, so don't quote me on that. But I do remember early on is he didn't put up a lot of threes, and now I feel like as his career goes on, he does put up a lot more threes than what he used to. And so, AD is not a big 3-point shooter. Westbrook, you only need to see how the Lakers defended him, where they gave him like 3 or 4 player spaces away, sort of to say, here, have that shot. if they can somehow get some pieces, some shooters around, obviously you're getting Westbrook to the rack. You might have LeBron coming off the 45 into the paint on weak side from Westbrook's drive on strong side. With maybe AD playing sort of mid to mid, high post or wing, or a little bit out of the way, or a screening off ball to an opposite player to swing around the other three-point line to be able to have an off-ball skip pass, nice looking three. Is that took a long time to get to what I was trying to say there. Is that you sort of want to be able to then sign some 3-point shooters, and so I think that's the Lakers' next point is trade Schroeder, get some either some vet mins or some minimum contracts of 3-point shooters to sort of mould themselves. Obviously, they've still got Marc Gasol, which he's very old now. They probably do need to go look for another backup centre, obviously for injury security, but also for someone to come off the bench for AD. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. But in terms of Wizards, is I think they got the better long-term deal. Is they've got a draft pick out of it. Harrell, I do love. I've sort of always loved him as a player. He's quite energetic. He's quite a he's not really sort of. He doesn't have a lot of flair other than how passionate he is, and so he just is just standard old school power forward. And yeah, it would be interesting to see how Thomas Bryant, Harrell and Kuzma go in that front court, and what Beal can do. And then obviously I'm not too sure who they've got at point, in terms of the depth chart, what they've got at the point guard position. I sort of went into this review blindly, and I haven't been sort of following too much other than the Bucks of late. So, yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys, what you actually think of the trade, whether you think that the Lakers got a really good deal or whether the Lakers got shafted, or whether the Wizards got a good deal, how you think that's going to shape them in the future. I'd love to know your thoughts, guys, but I'm going to leave it there. And we'll just see how the Bucks go this season for my standpoint, and I'll catch you on the next.